You ever been jealous of somebody because lots of other people like them? Maybe it seems like they like them more than you. It's like they're better than you or something. Like, what if they're even perfect? Well, we're in John chapter 3, beginning at verse 22. After this, Jesus and his disciples went into the Judean countryside, and he remained there with them and was baptizing. John also was baptizing at Aenon near Salem, because there was plentiful water there, and people were coming and being baptized, for John had not yet been put in prison. Now a discussion arose between some of John's disciples and a Jew over purification, and they came to John and said to him, Rabbi, he who was with you across the Jordan, to whom you bore witness, look, he is baptizing, and all are going to him. John answered, A person cannot receive even one thing unless it is given him from heaven. You yourselves bear witness that I said, I am not the Christ, but I have been sent before him. The one who has the bride is the bridegroom. The friend of the bridegroom, who stands and hears him, rejoices greatly at the bridegroom's voice. Therefore this joy of mine is now complete. He must increase, but I must decrease. He who comes from above is above all. He who is of the earth belongs to the earth and speaks in an earthly way. He who comes from heaven is above all. He bears witness to what he has seen and heard, yet no one receives his testimony. Whoever receives his testimony sets his seal to this, that God is true. For he whom God has sent utters the words of God, and for he gives the Spirit without measure. The Father loves the Son and has given all things into his hand. Whoever believes in the Son has eternal life, and whoever does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abides on him. So, you might remember John the Baptist. He is a guy out in the wilderness with followers, preaching and making disciples and baptizing. But now Jesus is there, and he's doing kind of the same kind of things. And Jesus is getting more followers than John is. So one of John's disciples gets into an argument with some other guys about some, religious things, details and stuff of purification. And has this ever happened where, you're really upset about one thing, but you haven't said it, and something else sets you off, and then what you're really upset about comes out? I think this is kind of what the situation here. This guy is kind of upset about this purification argument, but then he goes to John, and what actually comes out is the thing he's actually upset about, which is that Jesus is getting more disciples. And John, what's the deal with this? I mean, everybody's going to Jesus. What do you think? Isn't this horrible? And John, well, he's like, no, that's not horrible at all. That's actually the whole point. The whole point was that I was going to go before him and point to him. See, John has firmly in his mind the fact that he has a specific role and he has a specific call and he has a specific thing that God has him to do, and that role is a gift. And he isn't going to go being jealous of someone else because he knows that where he is a gift from God. And I think that's an amazing attitude to be able to have. So each of you actually have a calling and a role in God's kingdom. And that's a gift. And you don't have to be jealous about anyone else's role or anyone else's call. So he even goes on and says, guys, think about it like a wedding. Like John's saying, I'm like the best man at the wedding, okay? Jesus, he's the one getting married. It would make absolutely no sense for me to be like, hey, wait, guys, in the middle of the wedding. Hey, wait, guys, I know I'm the best man, but really, I should be the one getting married, right? No, it doesn't work that way. You're happy. You're happy for your friend that's getting married if you're the best man or you're in the wedding party. Right? You're not just like, oh, I'm going to take their place and take the bride. No, it doesn't work that way. And so, it doesn't work that way with John either. So, in this last little bit, we have a lot of comparing things that are above and things that are of the earth, and that there are ways that are things that are of the earth, meaning things that are the way that the world looks at things, that are maybe different than the ways that God looks at things. And the one that we can know has a good idea of the way that God looks at things is the one that comes from God, and that's Jesus. So tying this back to what we were talking about with being jealous of different people and their roles, is maybe the way that the earthly way, the worldly way to look at something might make someone's role seem less important. But maybe to God, it's actually super important. And we should be paying attention to what God says about who we are and about what we're called to.